What's going on, good people? You know what time it is. It is trees o'clock on Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for Compin Atlanta. Thank you all for joining. You see, today we chill. Just relaxing. About to get it in, about to really bring this open. And this is episode 14. I got a whole new setup right here. It's dope. I wish I could show y'all, but I'm not. It's just straightforward. Because it would just take me too long to kind of show you that. But here's the kicker. You don't need all the fancy things. Some of my guys that are doing this on a larger level, they have like legit studio worthy and it's crazy and all that. And I'm just like, yo, that's dope. One day, yes, we'll get there. But to get started, you guys have to remember something. You do not need to be great in order to get started. But in order to be great, you have to get started. So that's where we're at with it. And this is episode 14. We are chiming away. This is one of the greatest things that we get a chance to do, to give back and really help give it to the community. So this is going to be dope. And today I got some hitters with me. Got some people coming in and be jumping in on this later. But first and foremost, I definitely want to show love to everybody that keeps joining and watching the shows. That's coming in. I get people that hit me up and be like, yo, I've been watching your stuff. Thank you. It's been working. I've been using what you've been talking about. You've been helping me on my deals and this and that. Third. So again, shout out to you guys, because without you, we wouldn't know what you need help with, what kind of content we need to be pushing out there so you guys can get that education. So again, thank you for joining episode 14. And it's crazy, but one day soon, we're going to be like, yo, this is the episode 140, you know what I mean? And we're going to rock it like that. So hopefully you guys are hearing me laughing direct. Sounds good. Mic check, mic check. Got my son with me. What's up, man? Say what's up to the people. Say what's up. Say let's get this money. Show him the money sign. Show him the money sign. All right, watch out. All right, so let's get this thing showing. I got my guy in the back. I want to introduce him. He's an individual that probably doesn't even need an introduction, but I want to give him his just desserts. This individual I met a while back, been doing real estate, and he had an even higher power to just help. Like, he understood what people needed, and he got involved. And now this man is on major scenes with some of the top elite individuals in our industry with real estate. He is an active investor, and he also has other businesses that are extremely successful along the path of real estate and investing. So without any further ado, I want to give a shout out to my guy, Mr. Sean Young. Welcome to the stage, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for that great introduction, man. Great introduction. Always a pleasure to share the stage with a great individual such as yourself. You're the one who deserves all those accolades, brother.
Man, listen, I wake up and I be like, how can I keep up with Sean, man? What I gotta do to keep
Hey, man, you're doing an awesome
Sean,
job.
Man, that's what's up, man. So tell us, man, how is things on your side? How is business going, and how's the family life? Because you are like a lot of other investors. You're not just like this young 22-year-old guy who's just like, I decided not to go to college this year so I can focus on real estate, right? Like, you got a whole family and situations and different things like that. So tell us a little bit about where you are now and where you started, because I think that'd be a really good insight for those who are like in your position where you were, and to be able to have focal point of where they can go.
Absolutely, man. Great question, man. Well, let me tell you where I started was right there where you guys are, which is trying to fumble my way through, figuring this stuff out, failing my way through, so to speak. I invested blindly into like a big coaching type of system or platform. It was a hotel situation where you go watch a seminar and then you go in the back and you sign up, and it was quite a bit of money. And I was just laid off from a corporate America job where I was making a healthy six-figure income. So I could have went right back into another company. But I said to myself, I'm never going to be in this position again where a company can lay me off regardless of how I'm producing. And I was the top 3% in the nation. So I said, hey, let me figure it out. So I heard that real estate was a way that people could make money and find financial freedom and all that good stuff. So I said, hey, let me jump into it. And that's how I ended up at that seminar. And guys, I invested 20,000 bucks and spent a year of doing nothing but going through course after course after course after. I became a professional student, and that wasn't what was needed for me. I was a person that needed to actually get my hands dirty, go out there and fail my way forward, so to speak. So I was really at the tail end of me trying this real estate thing out when I went and actually spent, my last little bit of money. I invested it into a real coach. And I'll throw his name out there. He's not a coach any longer of students. He's now a coach of coaches. His name is Tom Kroll, and he's with Wholesaling Inc. And he was my first coach. And man, I got with that gentleman, hit the ground running. But it wasn't just an uphill. It wasn't just all roses, so to speak, or peaches and cream. It was definitely a challenging process for me to learn how to make this an actual true business and not just something that where you just chasing deal after deal after deal. So those are all learning curves, and I was a one-man show, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm the best. I was the top with sales with my companies, all the companies that I've ever been a part of since I was in sales, and I figured no one could do what I'm doing as good as me. No one would be able to help out. I couldn't hire anybody because they just mess it all up, right? That was my thought process. But my mentor definitely helped me to understand that, you know what, Sean, you are actually bottlenecking your business right now because you can only do so much as one person. So my career changed when I brought on my first assistant, which was a VA based in the Philippines. And then I brought on another VA. And then my business expanded. And then I understood the importance of a virtual assistant so much that I opened up my own virtual assistant company. And that's where I am today, guys. I've got a great virtual assistant company that helps plenty of folks all across the country generate leads, send out agreements, skip trace, do market research, all the hard works that you guys can focus on getting those deals under contract and getting more deals under contract and growing your business. So that's me in a nutshell, guys. I could go on and on. As Eddy said, man, I'm very passionate about this. I love giving to the people. I love being a part of things like this. And you guys are in for a treat today. So I'm ready to get started.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. This is awesome, bro. I'm super excited that you're here. It's really going to be a great show because when I come and I give value, I know it's amazing. But when I have people who I look up to come through and give value, I'm like, man, this is gonna be like I got my notepad ready. So whenever you start spitting some fire, I'm writing it down.
Yes,
So
sir.
I got a couple of people that hit me up on the side, and I just want to kind of explain exactly, okay, what is Compin Atlanta? And originally we were going to change the name of the show, and we're like, no, you know what? Let's keep it as a way to be able to focus on how important it is for you to understand your market. Guys and girls, you cannot be a real estate investor if you do not understand your market. I don't care who told you different. They're liars, and you can tell them to come see me. You cannot do this business if you don't understand your market. Now, I know a lot of people will say, well, I virtually wholesale. All you're saying is you have a distinct knowledge, or you have someone on your team that has a very distinct knowledge on all of the markets that you're in. So, should you do virtual wholesaling nationwide versus should you focus on one? That's going to be up to you, right? Doesn't really matter as long as whatever you decide to do, you focus in on. Okay. And so Compin Atlanta is just that. It's a show that we do every Thursday at 3 p.m. to be able to help people who are stuck with comps. We focus on Atlanta. Listen, if you come on and you say, hey, I got a property in Nashville, I'm not going to ignore you. But we focus on Atlanta, right? Because Atlanta isn't Nashville. Atlanta isn't Phoenix. It's not Texas. It's not any of those marketplaces. In fact, there was a video I had posted a while, not too long ago, actually, on my IG, and it showcased how on the same block you had 3 entirely different homes. Like, I mean, like you legit had a brownstone on the corner. You had a container home, a house next to it. In between that, you had a house that they built some sort of like farmland. And then right next door, you had a house that was built in 1920. How the hell are you going to comp all that? That's the same block. Those are the comps. How are you going to deal with that? So you have to have this knowledge. And this is what we do. We give back in this way. The benefit is a lot of investors, a lot of friends of mine are watching this show. And what they'll do is they'll watch us comp a deal and then send me a message and say, hey, I want that one. Can you have them send it to me? And I just connect them. I don't make any money off of this. I don't get paid off of this. This is just something that we do because I feel personally, if we're able to help the masses do better when it comes to comping and figuring out what ARV is and figuring out, for example, one of the shows we're going to do soon, I'm going to break down exactly how to be able to identify a cash offer, a retail offer, and a creative deal. In this market that we're in now, especially, you have to know if you have a deal that is set up to be possible creative close. And if you don't know how to close it, that's perfectly fine. I do. And I can close with you and still get you paid an assignment. I do it all the time. In fact, shout out to my Astro Flippers. I have Astro Flippers people that hit me up all the time. I met a bunch of them at the last event that we did on Friday. We had over 300 people there, and then everybody was just networking. It was great. We had food, free water. We had free drinks. The water was free too, but we also had free food. Pace came down. Jamil came down. I mean, it was just a great place. I walked out of there with new general contractors. In fact, one of the guys that I met at the event just did. Let me show you guys because I want to make sure that people sometimes think we be bullshitting, Sean. They think we do this for TV. You know what I
I
mean?
think it's all for cameras.
Yeah, they think it's off for camera. So here's a guy. He's here in Atlanta. If you guys want his contact information, I can give it to you. Here's a property I just had him go to. He just removed the fence that was on this property for us, and he took care of some of the landscaping that was there. Here's the bags that we had sent over to him. Put the landscaping down for us, and he got paid. Where did he meet me at? At this networking event. In less than 7 days, my man made close to $1,000 just doing work that we needed done on one of our fix and flips. So the point I'm trying to say is the events that we do are fruitful, right? You want to come out to those events to be able to get in touch with different individuals and make that work. All right. So I got one of the guys that I've known for a while. He was like, yo, my guy, I want to be able to do some more deals. Oh, yeah. I want to be able to do some more deals. I want to be able to get some more things done. And he was like, let us close the door for me. He was like, let us link up. I was like, dude, say less. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? Absolutely. It was like, I got a couple of things I've been working on. I want to figure out how to do. I said, all right, listen, say no more. Come on to the show. I got Sean here. He's been used to coaching individuals and helping people. Let us give you some of the things that you might be missing so that in the next 30 to 60 days, you can get a deal done. And he was like, perfect. You know what I'm saying? So definitely want to give a shout out to him for coming on. So I'm going to add on to the stream my guy, Myron. Welcome to the stream, bro.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, looking all cool and stuff, man.
Yeah, well, I do what I do. No,
What's going on,
Hey,
man?
Myron.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, doing good, man.
Good.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and about the journey that you've been on, man. Tell us about your real estate in this business.
Right. So my achievements is not as great as you guys, unfortunately. Not yet anyway. So a little bit about me. I didn't know anything about real estate at all. 2 years ago, I was on YouTube and doing YouTube surfing and came across a guy named Flipman. Started watching some of his videos, and somehow I wound up finding Pace, and I loved everything that they were talking about, because I thought about becoming a real estate agent, but I didn't want to kind of get into it in the traditional sense. So when they was talking about getting in, no money, no credit, I was like, well, let me check it out. So I linked up with Pace and got into sub two, um, and was going through the process. The problem is, um, I was all over the place, right? I was scatterbrained, um, trying to do this, trying to do that, didn't have a niche. And long story short, I ended up closing on my first deal, but I haven't closed on any since, right? And it's been about a year and a half now, almost 2 years. And I think I'm an outlier because, I'm seeing people all around me, closing left and right. And I'm trying to figure out what it is I'm doing wrong. I did the traditional way, if you want to call it that, where you go off market, get the VA. I've had all the systems in place, um, did everything, that I thought was right, but it still wasn't working. I just recently changed up my business model and I'm doing on market now. Um, and I'm creating, doing some agent outreaching and trying to get my buyers list together. But to be honest, I'm considering myself new, right? Because I'm starting pretty much from scratch. Um, but I know some of the things I got to work on is organization, right? Because my stuff is all over the place. I'm not real computer savvy, so trying to get Excel spreadsheets and things like that. My stuff is in notebooks, and it's kind of
Okay.
it's everywhere.
All right.
So,
So let's stop there real quick because I want to make sure we make things clear, and I'm gonna do that by telling a quick story. My first event that I ever went to when it came to real estate was Max Maxwell. So shout out to Max Maxwell, and shout out to my other amazing friend, buddy of mine, Pace Morby. I'm actually going to see him tomorrow. His mentorship is amazing. I don't think there's anything better. But Max had an event, big event. I want to say it was like maybe 1,500 people. His first event, he threw it in North Carolina. I go to this event. The crazy thing is, I went by myself. I don't know nobody at the time, so I'm like, I'm just going, right? And it was a great thing that I went because that's where I actually met my partner, my business partner. And so that's another key hint. I just talked about the events that I did, but going to these events, you meet individuals that eventually end up serving you and your business in a major way that you're not really aware of in the beginning, right? So long story short, the event is amazing. While I'm there, I meet this young lady. This young lady says, I've been doing real estate for about a year now, and I just made high six figures. So I'm intrigued because I'm just getting started. I said, that's awesome. Tell me, what did you do? She said, I was doing uh, direct to seller. So, okay, give me a little bit more. What kind of systems and tools you're using? You know, mind you, this is day one of the event. So they've done went through so much information, showed us so much different things that we can use, how what they're using, and this and the third. She said, I am using Excel spreadsheet as my CRM. She said, I have three colors: red, yellow, and can you guys guess what the third color is?
green,
It was
blue.
green.
Oh,
Red, yellow, and green. Okay. Um, she was doing one type of lead, which was probate, and she was mailing them. She legit was doing direct mail, if you can believe that.
wow.
Now, the crazy thing about it, she said everybody that was one of the speakers at the event kept telling her, hey, you should be using Podio. You should be using X, Y, and Z. You should be using this tool, this system. I want to point something out to everybody that's watching. First and foremost, none of these tools and systems that anybody recommends you were not available 5 to 10 years ago. Any of the top tools and systems that's available today 5 to 10 years ago were not available. Were they successful multimillionaires in the real estate space created even though these systems and tools were not available? The answer to that is yes. So if the tools are there to help to make things faster, I can agree with. Are they necessary? No. I think the problem is as a people, we've grown into the society that we need convenience. We've grown soft. We don't fully understand the concept of hard work anymore because we have technology and all these things to be able to like help us. Okay. So I want to make sure that I'm preaching here so that you guys can get it. Stop thinking you're not successful because you don't have the tools. I would I would beg to differ and argue the point that maybe why you're not successful is because you're using so many tools. Maybe the reason why you haven't been able to get a deal done is because you're bleeding 5K a month just in tools and systems and lists and this, that, and the third. So that's the first thing here, you guys. I want you guys to be able to um, fully grasp. Like right now, Myron, you just said like I'm writing everything down in a book. Definitely don't do that because there's a fire or you lost the book somewhere. You pretty much asked out. Right? But what you can do is jump on Excel spreadsheet. I would use Google because on Google, you can, and no matter where you are, as long as you have internet, you can log back into Google Sheets, right? And typing your stuff there, right? Typing your name, the address. In fact, I think that's what we'll do today. We'll set him up. What we'll do is Byron, this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna set you up on everything that you need today to be as lean, as efficient as possible in this business. We're gonna map out the whole thing. If anybody has a deal that they want to comp and all that, I promise you we'll help you. Just send it over to us. But right now we're gonna focus in on Myron. All right. So I wanted to say all that, tell you that story because I don't want you to think that, hey, you know what? It's because I don't have the tools. There's plenty of millionaires that were made before these tools that are being sold to us now ever existed. Right? So I want you to upgrade to Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to share my screen a little bit. But I want Sean to kind of talk to you here because I know he's chomping at the bits here. I want him to be able to talk to you about where your mindset is to kind of figure out what's been going on. Because a lot of times we think, oh, there's just no deals out there, right? And then you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, and you see somebody posting, hey, we just signed 5 contracts today. And you're like, what the I mean, like everything's going off at that point, right? So I want Sean to kind of be able to walk you through where you're at, what's going on, so we can make sure that this is on point before we start explaining to you what the daily actions is that you need to take.
Right.
Absolutely, Eddie. What you're saying is 100% right on point. The mindset is so important, Myron. It's not just a cliche when people say you have to get your mind right first. It is 100% true. And I'm not saying that your mind is not right, but even it doesn't matter. We always have to have reminders to get us back on track when our mind shifts or drifts. Let me give you an example of how the mind could shift. When you first got started, it sounded like you were very excited. And what excitement does is it creates anticipation. What happens after the anticipation, settles a little bit, and the success is a little bit, spread out. You start having anxiety, even though it's the exact same thing you're anticipating and waiting for, which is a deal. It shifted from anticipating that deal to having anxiety, wishing that you could get a deal. You start doing things from a different perspective. You're not doing things from a place of control or a place of or abundance mindset. And that is very crucial. If you are out here doing things from a standpoint of, this is not going to work, or I don't think this is for me, it's for someone else. That's what your result is going to be. You have to picture yourself in the seat that you want to have yourself in. You have to envision yourself winning. Overcome all the obstacles, because the obstacles are going to be there. Just know that they're never going to stop. No matter what level of success you reach, you're going to continuously be hit with obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. And the slump that you're having right now, it sounds to me a little bit, when you said I'm all over the place, or I've been all over the place, I want to let you know that you're not alone with that. There's plenty of folks that are in your same position that are probably even listening right now live with us, that are in the exact same place right now and don't even realize it. And what I mean by that is there's so many avenues, there's so many different strategies, and like Eddy was saying, so many different tools. There's so many different things out there that it can really confuse you, because you won't know what to apply to what situation. You'll think that you should be applying all of these things to one situation when none of them should apply, or none of them apply but one. So when you were focused on the one thing, what was that one thing that got you the deal before you got scattered?
Persistence was one. I did a lot of following up with that gentleman, and that's kind of how that one. But it was also a daisy chain deal, which I didn't know what that was at the time. You know, I finally got the guy to agree to a price, and then I kind of put it out there, and somebody had responded to me and said that they was willing to buy, but I didn't know at the time they were the buyer, that they had a buyer. And so I don't know what the dispo side looks like, right? Because I never seen the buyer, never anything. And then I see the HUD at the end, and I seen that the assignment was different. It was like different than what I had. So they had tacked on their assignment on top. I didn't mind. I just would have liked to have known that up front. So because I don't know now, I don't even know what the dispo side looked like. But to answer your question, it was me being persistent and following up with and it was easy too. Like, he wasn't putting up like much of a fight or anything. So it was kind of, but that was early in my journey, and I haven't seen anything.
Are you based in Atlanta?
No. So I'm in Vegas.
In Vegas, okay.
I lived in Atlanta for about 4 years, and I love everything about Atlanta. So that's kind of why I'm still marketing, because I kind of still know Atlanta. And
sure.
I know when I get properties that I want to own, that's where I want it to be. So that's kind of why I stayed with it.
Okay. All right. Well, based upon what you just shared with me, Myron, I want to definitely let you know that if someone else, this is what you have to think to yourself. If someone else was able to pull that deal together from a daisy chain, then you can do it too. And you have to believe that, and know this: as you move through the process, the next step will be revealed. Don't paralyze yourself thinking like, man, I'm not even sure what I would do if I had to dispo this deal, because I've never been to that process. Go ahead and get yourself a deal under contract. Let's get you a deal under contract, and let's worry about the next step as it comes, because it's just amazing how things reveal themselves as you go. It's an analogy I like to use that says, don't wait for all the to be green destination or here your goals. As soon as that first light turns green, you got to go and believe that you have the know-how to pay attention to the lights, to know when to slow down or stop or keep going. That's how this will work. You can definitely get through it. And that dispo part, if you've got a deal, Myron, getting that deal sold will not be hard at all. But what you want to do is establish relationships right now with the closing attorneys or title companies. I'm not sure which one is in Nevada, or if you are doing business here in Atlanta, you can use either one. But you want to establish relationships with those right now, because those are going to be the people to help actually walk you through that process, and they're going to quarterback really that entire process for you. Be transparent. Let them know, hey, this is my first deal that I've done by myself. I'm going to need a little bit of help. Can you help me out a little bit? And a good title company or closing company will not have any problem guiding you through the process so that you can understand how to do it again for yourself the next time.
Right. And another thing that I'm having issue, I hear so many people say so many different things. I'll hear one person say, well, you need to have your buyers in place ready to go, you know, because if it happens, you got to be quick. Then other people out here say, well, just get the deal and then the buyers are easy to get. No, but that's not true. It got me like kind of all over the place because now I'm trying to scrounge to find buyers that will buy from me and I'm doing on market. So I know a lot of buyers don't like on market deals for one reason or another. So now I'm like, well, should I go back to doing off market? But then it costs so much to do off market because all the systems I need in place. I don't have the money for all of that. So I say I'm gonna do on market because it's cheaper, but I'm all over, you know what I mean? It's like because I've never
What
done
you got to
on market.
definitely do is figure out one. I would say figure out one or the other because they're definitely two different beasts to approach.
Right.
You're saying that you're doing it on market and you're establishing relationships with some realtors right now, which is exactly what you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to explain to them your business model so they can understand, so that they can be able to work for you and be able to manage the agreements on your behalf. Your buyer that you have in place. This is why having buyers in your pocket, so to speak, is crucial. And my philosophy has changed. Sometimes I've thought, hey, you get a deal, the buyers will come. And then I've switched and said, no, you want to have buyers in place that you're servicing. You're going out and getting exactly what they want. Why did my philosophy change? It's like this. If you walk into a deli to get a sandwich and someone just handed you a sandwich, the likelihood that they're going to like it or would be a fit for them is very low. But if you ask them, hey, what do you want? What do you want on your sandwich? And you make it for them and then you offer it to them, that's going to have a higher probability of you getting, them to say, yeah, let me get that sandwich. That's exactly what I asked for, Myron. So that is very true. What are your thoughts on that, Eddie?
Yeah,
Would
no,
you
I
agree?
agree 1,000%. I think finding your buyers first. So you know what? Let's we're gonna jump right into this, and I wanna tell you, Myron, that like I really appreciate you had reached out to me, but I also appreciate you having the courage to come on here because I'm seeing the comments in the chat, and people are like, yeah, that's me too. I'm in the same boat. So I want you to understand, like, you're not alone in this, and a lot of times people feel like, well, I've been doing this for a year, so I feel like maybe I should have. Listen, none of that matters. Time is relative because there are people who get started in 2 months, they make 100K, and they're like, yeah, I'm killing it. The problem is, Myron, they haven't gone through any trials or tribulations like you are going through. Everything is balance, my friend.
Everything.
So the person who succeeds quickly, they still have to go through what they need to go through. It just hasn't happened to them yet. You, on the other hand, are currently going through and growing through what you need to go through and grow through so that when the $100,000 check comes, you don't stand a chance of losing it and having that be your story because you've already, hit the iron, right? So here's what I want to do. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna start with first understanding like the game plan of where you should be, right? How you should be going about this. Because Sean is right. You got to first understand who are you supplying. Okay. First and foremost, I really want everybody to understand this. Um, when you are a wholesaler, okay, I want you all to fully understand you are at best a marketing company. Okay. I understand what you guys may feel, but unless you are taking down one of those properties that you wholesale every once in a while and you're turning it into either a fix and flip or you're turning it into a buy and hold, you are not an investor. You are a marketer. You do business in real estate and you supply the real estate business, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an investor. That's not a bad thing. I'm just trying to get you, I'm trying to
Not at all.
give you a paradigm shift so you can understand how you should be going about this. Okay.
And how you can understand the different roles as well. So
Absolutely.
that's key.
Okay. So you are a marketer, right? Or I should say you're in the marketing space. All right. Now, when you're in the marketing space, typically you have a client and or you have a customer. So Myron, who would be your client?
I would assume is it the seller?
That is correct. No, I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
The buyer.
The buyer is your client. Why is the buyer your client? Because your buyer is who you're going to deal with on multiple times.
Right. Okay.
The seller is your customer because you're probably only going to buy one or two houses from the seller.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so this is very big to understand because you need to know, okay, if my client is my cash buyers, then I need to be building a relationship with my cash buyers. I need to be able to know, like, for example, my cash buyers, I know exactly who they are. I know their families, they know mine. I know what they like to buy as far as real estate, but I also know them personally. Why did I do that? Did I do that in a short period of time? Absolutely not. It took the relationships that I currently have, it took months, some of them a year or longer to be able to build those relationships. But because of that, now when I have a deal, I know exactly what they're looking for and I send it straight to them. It's not even a conversation, it's brought. You want Myron, you want it to get to the point where, and I'm going to have you start with a total of 5 cash buyers. That's it. You do not need more than 5 cash buyers.
Okay.
5 cash buyers that you have a relationship with. You know their buying criteria. Myron, essentially, you want it to get to the point where if you decide to call them or shoot them a text message, okay, because they see it's you, they're gonna stop dinner and go pick up the phone.
Right.
Because
which means you're adding value.
Yep, that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what that means. All right. So you don't need 10, 20. When I first started, I had a cash buyers list that I built up over time. I literally have 45,000 cash buyers on that list.
Wow.
I could 45,000 cash buyers means I could have walked past one of those cash buyers and I wouldn't know who the hell that was. Right? You don't need all these, especially in this new market. We are in a new market. If you get in a list and you get in pulled and it's like, oh, this is a list of 10,000 cash buyers, I am here to tell you right now, that list is not gonna be productive because 90% of those cash buyers are no longer buying.
Indeed.
So there's really not even a point of you doing all that. You want to be able to reach out to 5 cash buyers. Now, in the meantime, Myron, while you're building that relationship, what you need to do is be able to connect with individuals who already have those relationships with their buyers and use them as your dispo. I'll use Pace as an example. When Pace got started, he did not have a disposition department. You know what he had? He had a Keegly. He would reach out to Jamil and say, how much would your buyers pay for this house? He would tell them, you need to get this house at this price in order for it to make sense for my buyers. He would go get it at that price, bada bing, bada boom. Done deal. Not too much thought process need to go into it, right? If you ever have a property and you're stuck on like, man, I don't know what this ARV should be and what, blah, blah, blah. If you call your buyer will tell you what they'll pay for it. You don't even need to know who cares what ARV is if my buyer said I'll pay 200 for it.
Right. 100%.
I just know I need to be able to get this property under 200 and whatever I get it under is my money. It's my work, right? So I want you to get 5 cash buyers and I want you to be able to get 3 individuals who have a large cash buyers list that is with relationships. So a large cash buyer, like for me, I have a large cash buyers list. It's not 45,000, but I have individuals that I know is larger than 5, and it's a good amount of people that I know that are actively buying. I have relationships with these people, but I've been in the game for now 4 years, so it's taking me that time, right? you need to be able to build 3 friends who will serve as your dispo. All right.
Okay.
So actually, I'm a lie. I'm gonna say 4 friends because I'm one of them. So by the time you get done, you now have 5 cash buyers that you're building a relationship with. You're gonna find out exactly what they want, how they want it. I'm talking about, hey, how much do you typically like to make on these deals? What percentage are you buying at? Is there some areas you don't want me to send you? And investors like myself do not have time. So when you call and you're trying to ask all these questions, they're going to try to rush you off the phone, which is perfectly fine. Be respectful of their time. This is exactly what you tell them. Say, listen, I understand now is not a good time because you're a very busy person. What I'm trying to do is at least establish a relationship with you. So every time I send you something, you know I'm not one of those individuals that's wasting your time. I'm sending you a deal. That's why I'm asking you these questions. I want to know how you think about deals. I want to be your bird dog.
Mm-hmm.
Say those exact words. They will take the time to educate you. Here's what I want, right? And now you have 5 cash buyers that you've built relationships with. You have 5 dispo individuals that if your cash buyers for whatever reason is like, I got a closing this week, whatever, you can still send it out to the other individuals and they can send it to their cash buyers.
Right.
All right. So that's the first place you should be at. That's the stomping ground. All right. Now, you decided to do on market. In this
Right.
new market that we are in, that is a good idea. But, and this is for everybody, you have to do it correctly.
Indeed.
I was underwriting a deal yesterday. Somebody sent me. It was an on market deal. How many days was it on market? You guys take a guess.
60.
60. Sean, what you got?
5.
1.
Mm.
It's 1 day on market. And like I told the wholesaler that sent it to me, I said, this is not a good deal because you can't gauge any motivation here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, here's what I want you guys to understand about doing on market deals. The MLS in any given city, there's at least 1 million individuals who have access to and have eyes on the MLS at any given day. At least 1 million. There are people who have companies where they hire in a whole team of individuals every day for 8 hours. They are going through the MLS. There's companies that have algorithms that are written that screens through the MLS and finds deals and send it to them as soon as the deal pops up.
Mm-hmm.
So understand what I'm saying is if you see a deal and it's been listed for a day and it's not been picked up yet, it is not priced correctly. We've been fed to believe that when an agent lists the property, the price that it listed at, it should be the price that it should be sold. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Agents will gladly list something that they know is priced wrong because they have to follow the guideline of the seller. The seller is their client.
Indeed.
Right? And so, 2 things. 1, understand that. And 2, if you're going to be doing on market deals, you cannot be afraid to tell the agent that price is wrong
100%.
and explain it to them. We as investors have to do a better job of partnering and working with our realtors. This is why I do the events that I do. When I do Cash Buyer Fridays, I have investors there, I have agents there, and I have wholesalers. There are more money in this triangle that we can put together. There's more money there than us working separately. You got to explain to them, listen, I'm looking at the comps. Show me, can you send me the comps that you use to prove that this property is worth this much? Oh, yeah, here's the comps right here. It's 6 months ago. I can't use comps from 6 months ago because the market is totally different.
Exactly.
I'm looking at comps from 3 months only. Some markets, some pockets, I'm only looking at the last 30 days. But you have to be able to explain that and build a relationship with your agents, because your agents can become your bird dogs happily, especially because they're getting paid a commission on it. So,
Right.
Marvin, I want you to understand that. That's the second part I want you to understand of doing online on market, right? The first is don't go after deals that are like day one been listed.
Okay.
It's better to go after deals that have been listed for a long period of time, because they tend to have more flexibility and they're more motivated. Now, that does not mean if you see a deal that is posted, if you're using Privy or any other system, and you see a deal that's posted and it's at a good price, then yes, call that. But just know that you're not the only one calling at this point,
Right.
right? You're
Right.
still dealing with the same competition, so you're gonna have to fight through that with the seller. But nonetheless, I mean, that's the game, right? Like there's nothing wrong with other people looking to buy what you're looking to buy. It's how you know it's a deal.
Well, I've seen some property because I use Privy exclusively right now, and like I'll see property.
Shout out to Benson, man.
Yeah, shout
Shop.
out to Benson, man. I'm a big supporter of Privy as well, man. I've been helping him promote that for quite some time. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
big on
Yeah,
promoting Privy.
I've been with them now for about a month, and I'm still kind of getting acclimated to the system and how it works. But I'm coming across a lot of properties that's been listed for like 120 days, and it make me wonder something must be wrong with this that has been sitting for over 100 days. So
Yeah,
I
that's perfect.
packed
You
some.
like whenever you see stuff like that, you should start getting excited. That's
Really?
Indeed.
Okay.
that's what you like.
I packed.
You have a
Because
lot of there's motivation. Motivation is going to be higher.
listen,
True. True.
you are the problem solver.
Right.
That's a red flag that there's a problem somewhere. That seller needs to
100%.
sell this house.
Right.
And either you're gonna come and negotiate for cash or negotiate to do something creative to help solve that problem.
Mm, right.
So you want to go after those deals. Now again, and this is why I say that, because I know Privy has it where you can kind of see deals that are already under ARV by a certain percentage, which is great. But you
Right.
got to jump on those and you got to be quick to it. Now, the other thing I want to tell you before we get into the organization here is how many offers are you making per day, Myron?
Um, Typically about five or so. But that's because I'm still kind of learning. One of the big issues that I'm having, and I've reached out to a few people, is comping. I'm not confident in my comping skills, so I'm hesitant to put out offers because I'm afraid that I won't find a buyer that's going. Because I've had things under contract before, and it always come back. My prices, my numbers are wrong. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn to comp with confidence. Um,
Okay.
and that's been a
So
really
so
big
here,
issue.
I'm gonna help you solve that with two solutions right here. Okay. The first one is go back and watch all the Compin Atlanta videos, right?
Okay.
And then show up every Thursday. Because what
Okay.
happens is if you have a deal that you're looking at, you can just
Uh-huh.
be like, yo, I got one. Raise your hand in here. We'll comp it right now for you.
Okay.
Right. So that eliminates that. You're never gonna have the issue of like, damn, I wish I knew how to comp better.
Right.
Now you good. Not only can you watch all the other videos to kind of gain your understanding,
Mm-hmm.
you can come on Thursday, and if it's before Thursday or after Thursday, just reach out to me direct. I gave you my number,
Okay.
right? And I'll help you comp it. The
Cool.
other thing is if you do this right here, if you do this part, Myron, you don't have any issues. I want you to
Right.
repeat after me, right? I want you to repeat after me. You ready?
Right. Go ahead.
I want you to say this. How much would you give me
How much would you give me
for this property?
for this property?
I know it's on market,
I know it's on market,
but I can get it much, much cheaper.
but I can get it much, much cheaper.
That's it. Your cash buyer will tell you, okay, it's on market, but you said you can get it cheaper. All right, I would need that at 175. And now you got your marching orders. What I typically do is if I have a property that's in an area that is just extremely hard to comp, I will talk to at least 3 cash buyers to see if they give me around the same price point that they would buy it at. If I have 3 cash buyers that are saying like, yeah, I'll buy that at 175 or around 170, or yeah, I'll probably pay 176 or something like that for it. I know that that's a good number right there.
Right.
Right? So I can go operate on that.
Okay.
So you tell me, do you think after today you're gonna have any issues with that?
No, not now.
All
Now,
right.
one quick issue thing too is, so I went and people was telling me different ways to find cash buyers, right? Because that was my thing. I was like, okay, I need to have some buyers that I can reach out to, whatever. So what I would do is I would post up in a million different real estate groups or whatever, looking for cash buyers, put you on my list, and 90%, if not more, are either wholesalers themselves, or actually more than less is skip tracers telling me how they can pull me a list. So I don't know. My thing is, how do you find the actual cash buyers? Do you go that route, or just posting up in Facebook groups and hoping that those are actual buyers, or is there like a particular route that you go to find actual cash buyers?
So you can do the Facebook route. That does work.
Uh-huh.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with wholesalers that
Right,
if they have a cash buyer that they can bring to the table, then let's do it.
right, right,
Right? And let's say they don't want to share the cash buyer. Okay. I mean, eventually we're all going to get a HUD statement,
right.
right? I can build my relationship from that point on. But
Mm,
here's another thing that you can do, especially because you're already doing agent outreach,
right.
right? So you go into Privy. What market are you doing real estate in?
Atlanta.
You are going to do Atlanta? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only. I was doing Atlanta, Cleveland, and Vegas because I'm in Vegas, but I
Right.
don't like. I just love it, Atlanta, so that's my whole focus.
Okay. So what you can do is it depends on um, what kind of buyer you're looking for. Because you have fix and flip buyers and you have buy and hold buyers. So here, when
Mm,
I told you get 5, I'm talking about 5 fix and flip and 5 buy and holds because they buy differently,
okay.
right? If this was a year ago, I would tell you get at least 5 hedge funds.
Hey,
But
Eddie,
now,
could you explain to him the difference between how those buyers buy? Which one pays more?
yeah. So a fix and flip buyer is going to buy with perceived notion of how much they can sell the property for after they do their repairs, and they're going to decide on what percentage they can make as take home.
Okay.
A buy and hold investor is not going to have to put as much money into the property, so they can pay more for it because they're going to keep it in their portfolio and continue to get paid month after month, right? Most of
Makes
the time, they're also going to be receiving depreciation on it. So, I know I have cash buyer investors that are buy and hold investors that will buy a property that makes $0 per month, and they'll pay top dollar for it because they needed depreciation, right?
okay.
They're in a different game now, right? This is like it's like when you're in I don't know if you guys played cash flow game. I have it here, but or Monopoly, like when you like on that inside circle, like the rules are different now. You know what I mean? Like or better yet, like when you're spinning the die and now you get to spin with 2 dice as opposed to the one. So
Mm,
it's a whole different thing, right?
right.
That's exactly how it is when investors are buying for depreciation. But what I would do if you're looking for investors, so go to fix and flip, and you can do this on PropStream. You can do this on Privy. You can go to filters, and what you can do is they typically have it where you can look at. So here's what's sold. You can look at what's active to be even more precise. Scroll down. Let's say you say the property that you're talking about is a 1950 build. So I'm gonna do 1950 to 1960. Um, let's say it's a 3 bedroom. So I at least want that. And then I want to change this from last 12 months to last past month. All right. So this is going to show me what's active. We can do sold too, actually. All right. So now we're going to run the search. Oh, wait. You can actually do one of these filters here. I like cash buyer. All right. So now when I run the search and I scroll through here, any one of these that you pick, now you can pick this one, but obviously it's not in the best shape, right?
Mm.
And I'll show you why you can pick it in a second. But I like to pick the ones that look like they just got renovated. So this looks pretty decent. Maybe it did get renovated, maybe it didn't. Yeah, what you guys think? Newly renovated?
Looks like it.
Yeah, looks like it to me, based
All
on what
right.
I'm seeing.
There you go, completely renovated. All right, so where do I get the buyer's information? Well, if I scroll down, I should be able to see the agent that was attached to this deal. But more importantly, you can also look at let me see. Oh, I don't have the marks here. You can also look at the owner of the property. If it was a corporation, this one is actually a homeowner, like a person, right? But when the agent information is attached to it, you can call the agent and you can tell the agent, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Myron. I represent a small investment company here in Atlanta, Georgia. We have a couple of investment properties that we were looking to do different things with. We've completely changed what we're doing now, our model, and we're selling all of our properties that needed fix and flips. I know you represent a couple of fix and flipper investors, and I wanted to see if you knew if they would be interested in any of these properties."
Mm.
Now you got your agent that's about to go get their fix and flip investors come look at your property, and they're gonna sell that deal for you.
Okay.
And you tell them straight up, this is off market. I would like to settle off market, but if you want to be able to represent your client, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Got it.
Right? Like, look at this one. This one sold last month. This is definitely a fix and flip. Look at that. Took them almost a year, a little over a year. And you can go in and you can find the agent that represented this deal.
Okay.
Right? So that's how you do it. This one didn't show the agent, but obviously, oh, here it is right here. I'm tripping. Oh, that's why. I'm thinking of prop stream. So in prop stream, you have to scroll to the bottom and you'll see it.
Mm.
But on here, the agent's right here. So how do I find it? Boom. Search. All right, there they go. Here they are right here.
Mhm.
Numbers right here, address right here. What else you need? I don't even need to ask them like, "Hey, do you work with investors?" Duh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, there's another page I just forgot about it. There's a website you can go to that will show you like all the houses that an agent has sold, and you can kind of see if they're like literally been working with investors all this time,
Okay.
right? So that's how you're gonna find them. This is how you're gonna find your cash buyers. Your offers per day, I want you to be able to do. You gotta be consistent. So for right now, I want you to keep doing 5, but it has to be every day. At this point, Myron, I don't even care if the offer doesn't make sense. You can offer $12,000 on $100,000 house. I don't care. I just want you to get into the habit of being consistent in doing what needs to be done.
Right.
right? And then soon what's going to happen is you're going to then turn that into 10 offers a day. And that's when you're going to start cooking with grease.
Sounds good.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now we brought the sheet up so you can see how to keep tabs on your stuff. So here you're going to put address.
Are you getting feedback on those 5 offers that you're making now? Are you getting any type of feedback on that?
Yeah, I've gotten a few. There's been a couple that said that they want like 1 or 2 day due diligence. Um, but I don't have buyers that I can confidently just go, and as soon as I, you know, present it to them, that I know they'll buy, and I'm afraid that the earnest money will get lost or whatever. So when they don't give me, even if I get the 10 day that I asked for, I'm still nervous about finding someone. There's been a couple where I reran the numbers and the numbers came out. It's like almost every time I comp differently, you know. So that's been an issue. Like one of the big things is just being confident in my comps. But I've gotten feedback on quite a few of them. Some of them, the price they didn't want to go as that low, so they'll counter. But there's been about 3 or 4 that if my comp numbers were correct, I think, you know, I could have probably did something if I had buyers that were ready.
Are you submitting these offers? Are these 5 offers going straight to agents?
So what I did was I found an agent through the that was in the Elephant Challenge. I don't know if you know the Elephant Challenge, but um, I got in on that right at the end of the July one. And so I didn't know a whole lot about it. But I reached out to an agent that was in that was a leader, and I've talked to her. And so she's been submitting the offers for me. I don't know if it's good to go that route or if I should just call each listing agent myself, but I just give them to her and she presents the offers for me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
So address, seller's name, phone number. Now I'm setting this up for if you want to do on market or off market, right? Doesn't matter. But you just put the seller's name, their address, their phone number, and you want to put notes, right? And then you want to put follow-up date.
Okay.
These are the most important things that you need, right?
Right. Right.
Every time you follow up with somebody, right? You put, today they said whatever, and then you put the next follow-up date, and then you just continue to add more and more notes. Okay.
Right.
And always have a follow-up date, which is just a future time that you're going to come back and hit that account so that you're not trying to remember any of that. You don't want to memorize any of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And then, you take that follow-up date and every day you just look at it and you can do an A to Z thing to kind of sort it, and it'll just be in the date of like when, chronological order, right? And then you just
Right.
have a color system, right? So you're gonna do red if they said hell no, don't call me again. You're gonna do yellow if it's like a long-term follow-up, and green if you're able to talk to them. Let's say you haven't been able to talk to them, then you just leave it blank,
Right.
right? It doesn't have to be like super duper hard. It could be so simple. The problem is a lot of times I was talking to one of my mentors this morning. Shout out to Don. A lot of times we are not focused on the minute things that actually make the biggest difference. And
Right.
if you just learn to focus in on just those things and leave everything out the window, you'll be amazed at how fast you start to succeed. So I want to do one more thing is let's go through some um, comping because I want to kind of get a better understanding of how you're comping.
Okay.
So let's go out of here. Reset that. Um, I always forget. Where do I go to reset my search here?
I always just wind up going
You
down
mean for
to,
privy?
Yeah,
I do the privy coverage and start over.
that's what. Where is that at?
It's on the left, all the way on the left and towards the bottom.
Looks like a little globe.
There it is. There it is. Yep, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So give me an address of a property that you recently felt like, I don't know if I'm not too confident on this price.
Okay. Uh, Give me 1 second. How about, man, I don't like that one. Well, how about 439 Northwest Baker Circle?
Baker Circle.
Yes.
That's Baker.
Yes.
All right. What's the rest of the address?
Circle, Atlanta, Georgia. Zip is 30318.
Okay. All right. So here's a property here.
Right.
Was it recently sold?
No.
Okay, because it says off market. That's what I was asking.
Maybe they sold it. I gotta jump back on. My computer died real quick, so I'm give me one. I was so in the zone, wasn't thinking. I got another one if you want to know.
You said 4493, right?
No. 439. 439 Northwest Baker Circle.
493. Okay, sorry, 439.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So this will be the last thing that we do. But I definitely don't want to leave you without comping. I know everybody in here is probably like, yeah, when are we gonna comp? This is nice, but I need to comp. So first thing I do is I take a look at the picture. The 2 bedroom, 1 bath. All right. So let me ask you, condition wise, what type of repairs do you think we need to do so far? Like, do you think it's a light, mid, heavy, tear it down? Where are you at with it?
I thought it was heavy.
Okay, I agree. Sean, what's your thoughts?
Heavy.
Heavy. All right. Next thing I'm doing is looking at the bed and bath and the square footage. So I say this is a small puppy, built in 1950. So it's small, it's old, and it needs all of the work. All right. Now what I want to do is try to see how long has this been listed, and it says been listed for 64 days.
Right.
All right. Now, here's the thing about knowing your market. This is what I was talking about earlier today. This is in a zip code 30318. This is one of the popular zip codes in Atlanta. It's on fire.
Right.
Typically, houses that go for sale in this area oftentimes are always too high.
Mm.
And that's because people know that houses in this area can sell for 400,000 or 500,000. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to buy it higher than they need to, especially in the market that we're currently in. We are in now what's called a buyer's market, which means buyers can pick and choose if they're willing to pay the price. Before, we had no choice. You know, there was nothing else available. It was like 7,000 homes available. We got to get whatever. It has more than doubled. We are close to 17, 18,000 homes on the market right now
Mm.
in Atlanta. Okay. Shirley says the property I had you comp yesterday may be a buy and hold if as a sell decline offer. Yeah, sure, that might be true. It might be a buy and hold investor that need to come pick that up. So what we can do now is two things. One, follow up. Just because the seller declined does not mean it's not a good deal. You have to, it's like giving somebody bad news, right? Do you just give somebody bad news and then be like, all right, let's go play? No, you give them the bad news and you gotta let them kind of like deal with it. Then you can go out. Then we can kind of move past it. So it's the same exact thing here. So definitely follow up with that person. But also, Shirley, we should reach out to some buy and hold investors and see if they'd be interested. So in this particular deal here, I already know if it's at this price point and it's been listed for 64 days and it's in this hot area, which means tons of people have seen this, then this price is bad, straight
Right.
up. So off rip, I don't even need to look at this price. All right. So let's
So
go
I put
down.
in just real quick. I put in the
Yeah.
offer. I put in the offer on this one. I just haven't heard back yet.
What did you put your offer at?
I put it at 95.
Okay. So let's do
Your
this.
agent that you have submitting these offers for you, she's based in Atlanta, you said?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And your agent, do you ask your agent for any information as far as like CMA's comparable market analysis, or do you ever ask her for any of that type of data?
No, not really.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Eddie. I just
No,
wanted
you're
to
good.
kind of understand where you were.
You good. Oh, looks, y'all both were working on the same property. Trust me, with everything that's going on now, you guys are not the only two people that called this property. It's probably
Wow.
Oh, I'm
tons
sure.
of people
I'm sure.
that have been doing that, which is good. It's good, and let me tell you why it's good.
Mm-hmm.
If 15 people called you today and told you they want to give you 95,000 for your house, you start to be like, maybe I do have this too low, right? When it was just two people calling, you'd be like, nah, I know I'm gonna get 130 for this. But yeah,
Right.
15 people submit offers today and they always at in the 90s. Starts to make you and your agent be like, well, what do you think? What should we do?
Right.
So what I did here is first I came down to the map and I selected the pencil here and I drew a new area because it was showing me comps down here that was over on Joseph E. Boone, and that's a major street. We can't cross major roads for comps.
Right.
The next thing I'm going to do is I did it already, but I moved this around by the price because I already know this property is horrible shape.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to look to see like what are the properties that are in bad shape sold for, what price did they sell for? So anything that is a 2-1, this is a 3-1, 1940. My property is a 1950 build. So it's 1940 would pass, but it's a 3-1. Let's look at this 2-1 here, 1945. Okay. This one sold 2 days ago over on Church for 112. All right. This probably looks like it needs a full rehab too. Has some brick in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the location, it's right here. Let's go back to our property. So it's right here when our property is right here. So
And I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
yeah,
When it's all said and done, can I give you what? Because I always write down everything. I put down how much they want, my offer, the percentage, the ARV, how much I'm gonna sell it
yeah.
for.
Tell me what you got.
So the ARV I came up with was 257. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's what I came up with.
Did you use the highest 3 comps for that, or the lowest 3 comps to come up with that?
The highest.
Let me give you a quick little. This is just for reference that I like to use when you're dealing with sellers. You want to find the lowest 3 comps. When you're dealing with your cash buyers, then you're looking at the highest 3 comps because you want to look at what the potential is you know, for your buyers to be able to get once they, you know, invest in the property as well or add value to it.
Oh wow, this I've never heard that one. Let me write that down.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's ever mentioned that to me.
I want to be very careful though when I'm talking about formulas, because formulas are when we have tools like Privy, formulas almost are can cripple you if you stick with them too rigidly.
Right.
Because what Eddy was alluding to earlier, I believe, with Privy was that if you look inside a lot of these properties, it'll show you the spread on these properties. So you can literally go right to that property and say, okay, this person bought this property for 130,000. They fixed it up and they made 220,000. So are they willing to buy some more properties at 140,000? That's a very, very quick identifier and a quick way to you know figure out who in Privy would be a good candidate for you
Right.
without having to use the formula system is what I'm saying, because you're seeing what they're paying already in the neighborhood. We already are seeing that Eddy drew the circle basically. We're not crossing over any major roads, so there's solid comps to go off of. So if we can see that some activity, you know, it'd be great to reach right back out to those people to see if they're looking to buy some more properties at a similar price.
Makes sense.
Yep. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm eliminating anything that would not be considered a comp because we're doing 1950. Our property is 1950. So take that out. Take this out. All right. So here's where we would have our comps. And like Sean said, a property that needs this much work, I'm not looking at beautiful property. I'm looking at what's the ugliest properties that are out here right now that recently sold. And here we have the one we saw for 112, and the next one would be this one that sold for 142. Let's take a look at it and see. This looks like it was just land, but maybe they just didn't do good in the pictures. Here's another one for 143, and our property is not in this shape. Our property is way worse than this. So we're nowhere near the 140s. So what would my assessment on this one be? I think they're probably off on this property by just from not seeing it yet because we haven't seen inside, which is what I think is happening. I think they've had plenty of people that came to them at 125, maybe 115, maybe even 110. And then they got a chance to go take a look at the property and they realized,
Walked away.
yeah, this is way more than that. I would need this at like 85, right? And so I think that's the story. That's what's happening. So you didn't comp it wrong. You just didn't have the confidence because you're like, damn, they ain't say nothing.
Right.
You did good. But again,
Indeed.
I like this, and I learned this from Tom Crow. I learned this from Brent Daniels, and my guy here in Atlanta, Brandon Barnes. They taught me when you comping, just like what Sean just said, if you're comping a property that's in horrible shape, you don't necessarily need to look at ARVs, especially because sometimes you can't find them. Can't
Exactly.
find the ARV. What you can find is what are other properties that sold recently, like I did here. I only took the last 3 months. Other properties that sold recently that would be considered comps and find out the details. Like he said on Privy, Privy does an amazing job. They show you what they brought it at, show you how many days on market it took, right? Now this is for the other property, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like you gotta look at those details to be able to figure out, okay, here's the three lowest properties. Typically, who buys these type of properties at these price points? Investors.
Investors.
Investors are the one that paying for it. So if an investor is saying, "Hey, I paid 114,000 for a property that was in this shape," then a property in my property, I'm gonna say, okay, is my property better looking or worse looking than this property? It's worse looking. Okay, then that means I know I can't get 114. How much worse looking? Well, I don't know. Let's go take a look. Let's see. This down a third. Or ask my buyer, how much would you pay for this? And I can promise you, this right here needs to be sold at 85, 90,000.
That would be my thought as well.
They'll buy it at that price.
Yep. I was gonna say they'll buy it at that price, so you'd have to get it for a little bit lower
Yeah.
for your spread.
Now, if Rachel over at Kelly Williams is willing to present that to her seller, that's a different talk, right? But the longer this sits, the more something's going to need to get done. And the name of the game is, and it's the last thing we're going to give, the name of the game is follow up. I cannot stress this enough. If I could call this podcast another name, it would be Follow Up Atlanta. I think learning how to comp and understanding how important follow up is the most two power pack punches that you need in this business. If you just master those two things, you'll make money hand over fist, hands down. So, Myron, how are you feeling right now? How is things different for you in your mind and your steps, what you plan on doing now than it was when we spoke via text last night or Facebook Messenger?
Feels a lot better. I have a better understanding as to what I'm doing, and some of the things that I was kind of leery about or questioning, I kind of understand a little bit better now. And the approach that that I need to take. And I just gotta follow through with it and continue to do, what I'm doing and keep that motivation going.
There you go. And you got it, man. Listen,
Absolutely.
you have the support, right? I'm here, Sean is here. And then when you're ready, what I would suggest, Sean's not gonna talk about it because he's too modest. He didn't even want to talk about the other stuff, but I'm gonna talk about it, right? I'm modest. I'm gonna bring this up for him. That's what we do. When you're ready, your first expense in your business should be a admin, should be an assistant. Whether you're gonna have them call for you or pull data, here's the top 10 leads that I think make sense according to how you train me, Myron. So when you come in the morning, you just calling your top 10, making offers, boom, 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 done for the day. Man, I'm feeling good. Let me go do whatever else I want to do in life now because I'm moving and operating in a system, right? In order to do that, you need an admin to be able to do that. My guy Sean has that down pack for you. So when you are ready, I don't have like a code or nothing like that, but he'll remember you from this event that we're doing, and I promise you he'll hook you up. That's how you want to get started. You're not gonna go like, all right, bet now I'm gonna go buy this thing they said is hot, and like when you put your information in, it drives the seller to your house so you can make offer. Leave all those extra tools out the game.
Indeed.
Right? Max, you need one or two tools to be able to help you do what needs to be done, and everything else is just good old fashioned hard work. But we're not afraid of hard work
and stay consistent. Like you're saying, stay consistent. Don't expect overnight results. You may get them, but don't expect it.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm hungry. You have no idea. It's been almost 2 years. I ain't stopped yet. I refuse to give up. It's gonna happen one way or another.
Absolutely.
I just gotta find that path and stay consistent on that path, and that's what I'm gonna do now.
Perfect. Good stuff, man. Well, listen, thank you for joining me, man. When you reached out, I definitely wanted to make sure I helped, but I was like, I think what you're going through is important to have other people hear it so that they can relate to it. And I know we've had a bunch of people hit me up already, like, yo, this is me right now. So thank you, my guy, Sean.
And real quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And for anybody out there, any list, if you want to, connect, maybe, squat up or,
Let's go, man. How do we get in touch with you?
So you can either email me at BLK Square Investments.
BLK?
Yeah, so it's Black Square Investments, but the black is just BLK Square Investments at Gmail, or you can call me up or text me at 702-701-0667. I'm definitely looking. I don't have no problem partnering up, squatting up, or if anybody's interested, I'm with it. I'm hungry.
There you go. That's how you do it, man. Sean, take it away for us, my guy.
Hey, man, this has been a great episode. I'm glad to have been a part of it. Always invite me back if you need me for any future episodes. I'm very much here to help. I loved pouring into our guests here. This has been amazing, actually, because this is what so many people out here need, is to be able to walk through situations. They need just someone to kind of bounce ideas off of, and instead of going to a static like YouTube, video that can't really respond back to you. Not that that's bad at all, but when you got something like this, you guys got to take advantage while it's there for you.
That's right. That's it, man. That's it. So again, thank you all. Thanks for all the people that chimed in. We still rocking it. Tune in next week. We'll be here next Thursday, 3 p.m. Share this, right? The more people we get, the more people that we get to be able to come on, the better it is, because they'll bring their deals, they'll understand, and we'll all learn together. Myron, you had something else?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the phone number, I'm sorry.
That's the wrong number?
Yeah, it's 702-701.
So 702
701.
So 607.
No. 702.
That's the starter phone number?
Yeah, that's the area code, because I'm in Vegas.
702.
Then 701. And then 0667.
Gotcha. So I don't know who that other person is, but they're gonna get a lot of calls asking for you, man.
Wait,
Thanks, man. Thanks for clearing that up, and we'll put that in so people can reach out to you, man. All right. Well, without any further ado, I know I say it, man. Keep doing your thing and stay charged up. Peace.
Appreciate you.
Peace.